I feel like eggs and orange juice. Beanie coffee.
I'm pregnant.
I'm Alexander. This is Colin. I'm an artist.
I'm a comedian.
Are you famous?
I'm not really.
I saw your thing on YouTube.
Did you laugh?
Yeah?
How many times?
5.
They make you relax.
You shouldn't have to do anything you don't want to do.
How come you haven't tried to kiss me yet?
The fun's just getting started. Going to London. We get out of here, see the world, make a difference.
Do you really want to be that guy whose girlfriend is knocked up and he just legs it to London?
Yeah, well, I prefer to be him than the guy pushing the pram around wishing he was dead.
So guys, I seen you both on the Late Late Show on Friday night, and it was a great interview, but one thing I was wondering is if you managed to grab a pint with Gabriel Byrne or Richard E. Grant afterwards.
That is a loaded question.
Did they have any pearls of wisdom, or did you get to talk to them at all?
I got to speak to Gabriel and his wife afterwards, as did Peter. And I was so... for me, it was one of those moments because I've really followed his work and I've always kind of idolised him as an actor. And also as a speaker, I think he's got a very kind of honest and very sort of sensitive and kind of sort of humanistic kind of way of talking about things, and I find him really interesting, and he's such a good actor. And he was really sweet and very kind and down to earth, and yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah, great.
He's a lovely, lovely man.
Yeah.
I worked on briefly on
That's right, on Quirk.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
But it was nice because we the character I was playing was kind of essentially Brendan Behan, but the name wasn't Brendan Behan because I don't know, for reasons they couldn't have it as Behan. But obviously I was doing a Brendan Behan anyway, and we had done a rehearsal over it was at Mulligan's on Poolbeg Street where we shot the scene. And we did a run through of the scene, and then we went back to our trailers, and then we were leaving, going over to the scene. He pulled me aside, and he just kind of went, "You're doing a really good job there."
Oh, no way, really?
And I was just like,
that's so nice.
That makes me feel comfortable going into the scene.
Yeah.
Brandon was like that when we were doing Calvary.
Yeah, was he?
Really,
Yeah.
really supportive and generous.
Yeah.
And
so we got chatting. Then he was like, "Oh," because I know his niece. She's a very good friend of mine. So we were chatting away, and then he was like, "You in college as well?" I was like, "Yeah." Well, he's like, "What do you study? History and politics." So we got into a very political conversation, but like, basically, I didn't have the same backing.
Yeah.
That he had. Like he was committed to it. Like, and he was like, he was like, "And where do they stand?" And I was like, "He's like UCD." I was like, "Here, I'm gone."
Yeah.
But no, but the other night, like meeting him as well, he's very much. There's no airs or graces. He's straight into like interesting conversation. If you show interest, he'll show interest. And Richard Grant as well. I didn't talk to him as much, but he seemed very nice as well.
But it's not at all that thing of you just have to talk about acting.
No,
you know.
No.
In fact, that might be one of the last things.
Yeah,
you'll talk about.
It's like Tom.
Yeah, exactly.
Tom Villalona is very like that as well. Like he rarely talks about. He rarely talks about life. Really talks about himself.
Yeah.
But like he's very interested in people and everything else.
Yeah. So the movie then, it's kind of...
actually, should we talk about
shoot the breeze all day about
Yeah.
Gabriel Byrne. But the movie, it's brilliant. I absolutely loved it. And it is...
great, thank
it's great, really good. And it kind of shows that new aspect of Dublin, I guess, the sort of... for want of a better word, the hipster aspect of Dublin. And it is sort of being labelled a hipster comedy, but does that label bother you, or how do you feel about it?
It doesn't. Is it meant to bother me? It doesn't bother me.
No, good.
No.
I suppose it'd be kind of hipster if it did bother you, maybe.
Well, yeah. I thought I really liked in the script the sort of the portrayal of Dublin and the depiction of the characters in the film. I thought it was something that it was an area of Irish life that perhaps hasn't been as explored as other areas, perhaps.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that was something that appealed to me. And also, I thought there's a lovely romance to the film, and also the way it was shot, and of course the way Brendan wrote the script. And Peter's a very romantic person generally, so that was another element of romance about it. So
it's hard not to be, mate.
Well, yeah,
that's
true. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's two guys with two best friends over the course of 24 hours, on a day where some extreme decisions are being made and lots of challenges are being...
New shit has come to light.
Indeed. It's come to light.
A lot of new stuff.
Yeah.
And I loved how different both your characters were from one another. One thing though with your character, Colleen, is that you're a comedian, but we never got to see you tell one joke.
That's funny, yeah, actually, that's
well,
an
one joke,
point.
sorry, there was one about cappuccino in Fumbly, I think.
Yeah,
joke
that's...
there, but...
Well, actually, yeah, Jesus. because I'd written so for about 6 weeks before the film started, me and Brendan had spoken about it, and we decided that what he wanted to do was shoot some stand-up, but he was probably always going to cut away before you see it, because he liked the idea that it's unknown as to how good or not Killian is at this thing. And so I wrote like a sort of 15-minute stand-up set, I suppose, for want of a better word. And I remember doing it in front of the crew and Brendan on the day, and it was just the most terrifying experience of any sort of performance experience I've ever had, whether it's music or acting. This was a totally new game. But it wasn't in the film, so I have to presume that perhaps
it was just too good. It wouldn't have been.
Yeah, that's certainly what I like to convince myself of.
Yeah. And then both characters, again, we know your character's a musician as well. But I was just wondering, they're kind of two people who, like that, went down the artistic road, similar to yourselves as actors, but didn't work out. So is there anything that you guys think you'd be doing now if you weren't the successful actors that you've become?
Thank you. I don't know about.
Yeah.
Well,
Flatter first.
yeah, no, that's good.
But genuinely, though, is there
ease
another
them into
road?
a sense of security, so they'll reveal things. Like a non-creative profession.
Isn't there, or not even? I mean, like that, Peter, with you and the musician and playing or singing in the film, was there any kind of moment in your life where you thought you'd go down that route, or has that just been a hobby?
No, I never thought that I had the wherewithal to be a singer. Like, I do like singing, but I think songwriting is a very unique talent, and you kind of have to be doing it from a very young age. Like, there's friends of mine who write music and have been playing instruments since they were like 10, 11, 12, and they've been writing songs and stories for that lengthy period as well. But no, I mean, I suppose I went to college without the intention of being an actor.
Yeah.
At one point, to study history and politics, and I suppose I teaching.
Yeah.
Might have been a profession that I would have fallen into but chosen because my father was a principal, primary school teacher.
He's the principal in my
your
school.
yeah.
So that was something, and I used to really enjoy working in the summer schools and working with children. So maybe teaching, or maybe just an entrepreneur of sorts.
Of course, I could see that maybe on The Apprentice or the like.
Yeah, me and Bill Cullen.
Yeah, exactly.
Who put custard in the jars? Amazing.
So final question then has to be, about Love Hate.
Oh.
And I know that, what a shocker. I know there's a question mark over the next season. So I was just wondering, what do you think? I mean, I can imagine it maybe coming back in 5 years' time. Where do you see Fran or Tommy?
5.
Well, maybe down the line, because you're in
Okay.
prison, you're in a coma, so it would need to be some sort of significant time.
Did I not wake up?
Yeah, there was a.
I woke up.
There was a shutter of the eyelids.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's potential there that,
I think ultimately, it's like, I don't know, with me anyway, I if a script is interesting, I'll do it, and if Stuart wanted to do something again, I'd be all up for that. Like, and it's really just his thing, and it's I think he's working on some other things, and I think if he's struck by an idea or a storyline that he wants to pursue, he will, of course, and he would never just do it for the sake of it.
Yeah.
Because there's an audience there for it. I think it would have to be something he believed in. So it's really just if he wanted to, I'm sure we'd all be open to the idea.
Yeah.
And just whenever that happens, if it happens,
Yeah. And then just again, final question is, two of you seem like you've been good friends for years, got such a history together. But do you not get mobbed by Love Hate fans when you go out for a pint in Dublin, or do you get any peace at all?
Well, there were moments
At the beginning, do you remember, like when we went
when
to Christmas time?
when season 3 happened, that was the most intense experience of that sort of thing I've experienced. Generally, I don't live here, so I don't notice it.
Yeah.
But even walking around, like I don't know what it doesn't really affect my life.
Yeah, I suppose it doesn't.
It depends. Now, when you're with
That's what I was about to say. When you're together, I'd say people feel even more entitled to come over and approach you.
Well, there's
when
a
we're
lot to
yeah.
be said for saying another mass. But
there is a lot to be said.
It's so long since I've seen it, I forgot Steve McQueen was in it. But ultimately,
Father Tad's on the brain.
ultimately, like, it does. People do recognise you and obviously stop you in weird situations. But it's all really positive. It's all been really positive. And I think it dies down now that it's over. Like, at the time, like between October and December, when it's on, it's pretty.
I think if
mad.
you're here when it's airing,
it's pretty. It's pretty.
But then the rest of
intense.
the time, I think it's a bit more chilled out in that respect.
Calm down. Well, great. Listen, best of luck with the movie and everything. And it was really nice to meet you both.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks a
cheers.
million.
Thanks a million.
just feel like things are beginning to turn for him.
Come with you or come with someone.
I love you.
Are you stoned or something?
You rub around, dab a bit in your neck. Apparently it's like nectar to them. Musty. That is disgusting.
There isn't a doubt you can let more in by letting